Hi everybody, Dan Illman here, kicking off a 20-cent pick 4 at Woodbine on Sunday with a competitive edition of the Grade 2 Connaught Cup, 7/8 of a mile on the E.P. Taylor turf course. $175,000 is the purse. The race is carded as race number 8. Let's take a peek at this field. Some very familiar names in this lineup, including a millionaire, the number 8, Bound for Nowhere, who's been a crack sprinter throughout his career for trainer Wesley Ward, and while 7 furlongs might be pushing his distance limitations just a bit, he's a stakes winner at the distance, and I think you give him the right trip, his class could shine through at 7/8, and I think he'll get the right trip. I'll disagree somewhat with the Timeform US pace projector. I understand why Timeform US believes this pace might be very fast. You have a horse like Dream Shake, you have a horse like Churchtown. These horses have early speed. A horse on the outside also has speed that's roaring 40s, but a horse like the number 8, Bound for Nowhere, he can do it either way. He can go to the lead, he can sit just off, and I think he's going to find a really nice position tracking the leaders while in the clear, and he should have a big look at it when they turn into the stretch. Let's start things off with a horse that's hoping the pace is fast because he's a true late runner, and that's the number 1, Banff, who's going to be making his first start of the year. We haven't seen him since October the 21st when he did this against fellow Ontario-bred 3-year-olds in the Lake Superior Stakes. He beat 2 next out winners with a late flurry going 7/8 of a mile, and he looked good doing it, earning a 92 Beyer speed figure. He's lightly raced. There's a very good chance we haven't seen Banff's best yet, but he's taking a big step up in class, and he is going to have to deal with this lengthy layoff. I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach, but I'm really interested to see what he does the remainder of 2023. Churchtown is up next, a very consistent runner for the great Roger Attfield, and this horse took a tough beat last time out in the opening verse at Churchill Downs going a mile. He was up and on the pace that day. The fractions weren't fast at all. They went 49-1, but they were contested, and the horse that Churchtown was pushing on the lead ended up well back in the field. Churchtown made the lead turning into the stretch, and he was just run down late by Annapolis, who's a pretty good middle distance horse in the United States. The third place finisher, late running Set Piece, came back to win the Grade 3 Arlington at Churchill Downs with a 98 Beyer speed figure. Churchtown's now going to turn back in distance. I'm really not worried about that. Attfield used the route to sprint move last spring at Woodbine to take a first level allowance race, and this horse just has the tactical speed to lead or rate. I think a great trip is coming from the pocket in behind the leaders. Dream Shake is up next, and he felt handsome with blinkers on again in his most recent start. This race is going 7 furlongs over the Tapeta, and Dream Shake just got right to the lead in this allowance race, and he looked strong in the stretch to win with a 93 Beyer speed figure. He's done good work on dirt in his career, he's done good work on synth, and the jury's still out as to whether he's going to be as effective on turf. He's only raced once on that surface. That was the Oceanside Stakes, and he was very eager, pulling hard in the early part of that race, and I might have taken some of the starch out of him. Dream Shake is going to have to prove his mettle on turf, but his speed plays very well in this race, and I think he'll be a strong forward factor for trainer Michael Stidham. Lucky Score is the number 4, and I wonder if last time was the time for Lucky Score at 14-1 when he won the Grade 3 Highlander going 3/4 of a mile. He got a big pace to attack. He saved ground at the back, split horses in the stretch, dove back down to the rail. It looked like Lucky Score wasn't going to get up, but to his credit, he did get up to win that race, and he did so with a 100 Beyer speed figure, which seems like a little bit of an outlier, and I wonder if that number was due simply because the pace was so fast. The time had to come back pretty fast. Lucky Score is hoping for a similar pace scenario as he stretches out to 7 furlongs. If he repeats that last race, he could go right back to the winner's circle. I kind of want to see him do it again. War Bomber is the number 5, and I think this horse has upset potential. He's raced twice this year, both in synthetic routes, and you can argue that's probably what he wants to do. But in both of those races, he got hooked up on the pace against a pretty good horse. Treason was in both of those races. I think Tyson, the winner of the Dominion Day, is a very nice horse with Treason running second, and War Bomber just got hooked both times. Now he's going to turn back to a sprint. He doesn't sprint often, but he has won his last 2 starts sprinting, and he showed a rating gear winning his final start of 2022 over the Tapeta surface. He has the class, at least on synthetic, to measure up to this field very well. 20 to 1 on the morning line. He could certainly do worse looking for a long shot than the 5 War Bomber. Dreams of Tomorrow is the number 6 coming up from the United States for Shug McGahee. This horse was a nice trip winner, 2 starts back of a 3rd level allowance at Belmont. He sat right off the pace. The pace wasn't fast, and once he took the lead, he streaked home to win, as a favorite should. He ran in the Grade 3 Poker last time out on Belmont Stakes weekend, going a mile. He sort of just ran an even race. I didn't love the Poker overall as a race, and this horse has just had plenty of chances in stakes competition to sort of jump over the top, and it's never really happened for him. Now they're cutting back. I think they're going to try to take him back and make one run. Shug McGahee is known for getting horses to continually improve as they get older. Dreams of Tomorrow continues to mature as a 5-year-old. He has competitive Beyer speed figures, and he's a fair price on the tote, or at least on the morning line, at 6 to 1. The number 7 is Luckman. Let's watch his last race, going a mile on the inner turf. He got a really great pace set up in here. They went a fast second quarter mile. The half mile was running 46, 3/4 in 1:10. Luckman runs him down to win this allowance race. He was good enough to win the Toronto Cup, going a 1-turn mile last fall, so give him the right pace set up. He can come with a kick at a price. If you believe this pace is fast, he will be running on late. He is 3-4-4 lifetime on Woodbine turf. Of course, 2 of those wins came on the inner. The 8 is Bound for Nowhere, and you might look at Bound for Nowhere's last race and be a little bit disappointed. Let's cut the old guy some slack. It was a very short field. There was no pace on. He tried to sit and make one run, and it just didn't work out. His race before at Keeneland off the layoff was his usual solid performance, where he ran a good second with a decent enough Beyer speed figure, and I think he'll be ready to go 3rd off the layoff. I think it's a very good sign that a horse like this, who's had his career interrupted by layoff line after layoff line after layoff line, is now running 3 times in a row without a layoff line. The old guy must be feeling pretty good. He's got tactical speed. He obviously has the back class to win a race like this. I'm just not sure I'd take 8 to 5 on him. This is a pretty competitive race. Old Chestnut is up next. This horse ran 4th last time out in the Highlander. I want to give him a little bit of an extra points for that race. That was a closer's race. He was right up close. He looked like he was going to win at the 8th pole. He just got tired at the end when the pace sort of fell apart. I can give him a mulligan for that effort. 7 furlongs for him. I think he'll be okay. He still has to prove it. And he's another horse. While he has speed, he's not speed crazy. He'll let the other speeds go. This is a guy who's going to be a big price in here, and he should be in the thick of things when they turn for home. It's all about whether he classes up with some of the more higher-rated horses in the field. Roaring 40s completes the bunch. He ran 5th last time out. His first start off a short layoff since returning from Gulfstream. He went 3/4 of a mile. He pushed the pace. The pace wasn't necessarily fast, and he just got a little bit tired. Now they'll stretch him out to 7 furlongs, which I think is a good distance for him. I'm just not sure from a class standpoint, especially if he's pushing a solid to fast pace, if that works for Roaring 40s. Take a look at my top selection in here. I respect Bound for Nowhere. I just want a better price. Churchtown is a really fair price to me on the morning line at 5 to 1. I'm not worried at all about him cutting back to 7 furlongs, and I think a great pace-tracking, ground-saving trip is coming under Emma Jane Wilson. Churchtown's my pick in the Grade 2 Connaught Cup on Woodbine Oaks Sunday. Good luck.